And are you refreshed?
Yes.
Good. Now what?
Hello, Abraham. Thanks for inviting me here. The experience I've gone through the last couple of months has been a job search, and I have done this a number of times over the past few years. And this time it's a little different. Keeping positive through a stressful time and trusting the outcome has been
That's really
important.
what the secret of deliberate creation is, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
It's maintaining your vibration unconditionally, not letting the condition dictate how you feel.
Right.
Unconditional alignment, unconditional love, unconditional positive expectation, unconditional. Now, conditional is easier, isn't it? It's easier to look at what you want and feel good about the condition. But if you could just embrace for a moment the disadvantage of needing a condition in order to feel good, because that means you can't move beyond what the condition is.
Right.
When you think about it, because if you're focusing upon what is, and even though it's making you feel good, that's all the oomph it's got, because it's already spent energy, so to speak. It's already old news once it's manifested.
Yeah.
Where the thrill is in the search. Once you land the job, boring. Then you got to go to work. But meanwhile, the job search is the very best part, because that's where all your juices get to flow. That's where you get to decide, to define, and to line up with what you've already defined. That's where you get to anticipate, you see.
Yeah, so I've been delivered a contract, and I have been 2 days on the job now. And what I've realized is the search isn't over. The process isn't done.
Don't you love new data? Don't you love new information? Don't you love launching of new rockets? Don't you love new clarification?
Mm-hmm. So I've been listening to my experience. I do. I love it.
Yeah.
What's interesting is different this time is I'm listening to my experience and my emotions as I get there, and not everything is positive, right? I mean, there are things about the new job that say to me, your search isn't over. This isn't going to last either.
Well, we would like to say that to you about everything. It's not over. Mm-hmm. It's not over. It's not over. In other words, this relationship's great, but it's not over. Mm-hmm. It's going to expand into more. This relationship with work isn't over. It's going to expand into more, because you are launching rockets of desire at an unprecedented rate. And so the universe is really configuring things in a more powerful way than ever before.
So I've been looking at what is different this time, and the way that I want to handle it better this time is I've had many jobs over the past few years, and I would become dissatisfied and get into a bad vibration, and it didn't serve me. Frankly, I would use alcohol to an excess during those times to make the job and make the people reject me so that I could go find something else, which was totally unproductive.
Yeah, just quit.
Yeah. Right.
Say to them, we could do this the hard way or the easy way. I could make you not like me, or I could just tell you, I don't like you.
Yeah, so I've learned something, right? And through your teaching and through my additional awareness.
Let's talk about that just for a little bit, because what that former way of going about it means is, and you're not alone in this, you don't feel yet that you get to decide what you want, rather than just saying it right out. Hey, I'm a really good creator, and I really am good at what I do, and I really want to be happy in my life, and my employment is a big part of my life, and so I'm wanting to really find a good fit, and this is not quite it. And rather than having the personal appreciation that says, I get to choose what's best for me, instead you're like so many, where you believe that you're just supposed to put up with what you don't want, and that really you're supposed to sacrifice your happiness for the good of the employment, or for the good of the family finances, or whatever, and you're just supposed to suck it up and take it.
Or hope that circumstances change within that environment, within that.
But what we're talking about is we are responding to your acknowledgement that you have been deliberately and indeliberately, but deliberately self-sabotaging something, try to make it go away, not because of your desire. Produce something that keeps you from having to do it. And we think you picked that up early in your life when you were asked to do things that you didn't want to do, and unless you had a very good excuse, you had to do what you don't want to do. And so we want to help soothe that in two ways. We want to help you give yourself permission to not do what you don't want to do, first of all. But we also want to help you to figure out how to line up with what you are doing. Because sometimes the path of least resistance is doing something that you think you don't want to do by helping yourself to realize that there's a lot within it that makes it something that you want to do, so that you're emphasizing the want to do it part more than the don't want to do it part, so that it can become a completely want to do it part. Does that make sense to you? Things will morph to please you, and sometimes there's a sort of knee-jerk quick reaction or quick judgment about something. In the same way that you're changing on a daily basis, your employment around you can too. There are so many moving parts in everything. And if we could convince you that source energy, whatever you want to call that, that inner being part of you knows what and who and where and when all those moving parts are. So if you can just focus on not needing to know, not needing to micromanage your own experience so much, and just trusting by realizing that, oh, did you ever micromanage it when you put what you wanted into your vortex incrementally, one day at a time, all day, every day? You have created a dream employment experience that pays really well and that draws from you the best that you have to offer in every moment. That's what's in that vortex for you. And so if we could just convince you to trust that it's there, and be kind to yourself about the impulses that you have, and rather than calling it self-sabotage, maybe you got an impulse that helped make it go that way. It is working out for you. We want to find a way to convince you that it is working out for you before you can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it. And that's what unconditional alignment is. You don't need the conditions that you see and hear and smell and taste and touch in order to trust, in order to know, in order to expect, in order to thrive, in order to feel eager about it, you see.
So every day through the process of learning and going through the process of hard situations like looking for a job or starting a new job, and being in the right vibration, positive with the people around me.
By saying things to yourself like, isn't it great that I get to choose?
Right.
And isn't it great that it's evolving around me?
Yes.
And isn't it great that I'm finding my fit? And isn't it great that my fit is finding me? Isn't it nice that things are always working out for me? And isn't it nice that I'm noticing so much more of that? And isn't it nice that I have this contract that I've got going right now that is serving me well and is stimulating me with new ideas and is morphing right before my eyes.
And this is the difference from the way it's been.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, it's a nice difference, because once you settle in to this profound, exact science of deliberate creation, where you recognize that you really are calling the shots. If someone says to you, what do you want? Sort of the genie in the bottle, 3 wishes thing. What do you want? Oh, you would be hard pressed to define it accurately, because you've been defining it, and it has been defined. It's defined. It is defined. So if you accept that you've already created that, and now it's just appreciating the fact that it's created, and appreciating the fact that you're often in the receptive mode, and appreciating the fact that it is working out, and appreciating the fact that how well things are going, and appreciate. Now you're in that receptive mode. So we want to call, just for a moment, we want to call your emotional state of being the unconditioned, and the manifestation that you are often having an emotion about, the condition. So if the condition is necessary for you to have an emotional response, that's backwards. That's conditional living. And that requires so much management and so much orchestration and so much control of things over which you do not have control. But if instead you say, oh, I have emotion regardless of condition. I have emotion in response to alignment. I have emotion in response to what's in the vortex. I have emotion in response to what I know I've created. I have emotion in response to what's coming. I have emotion in response to who I really am and how I really feel. That's unconditional. Can you feel the difference? That's unconditional love. That's unconditional alignment. That's power. That's empowerment. Because under those steady conditions of feeling good, all conditions must morph. You get to create your emotional condition apart from the manifestation. And it doesn't matter what subject it is. Lover isn't there yet. Physical body not where you want it to be. Even something happening with your physical body that you don't want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the condition is.